What's going on, guys? Girls, Rob here, and more news of the day. Um, Obviously, I know a lot of folks have heard about the David Johnson for DeAndre Hopkins trade. Hopkins, a top three wide receiver. I don't care who you're talking about. Hopkins is the top three wide receiver, and David Johnson hasn't played in the better part of a year and a half because he's been hurt a lot. He still may have some gas in the tank, but people started to wonder what happened with DeAndre Hopkins, Houston, Bill O'Brien, assistant coaches, whatever. What had happened? What's going on, Philip? And it's this morning on ESPN, Michael Irvin decided, what's up at the chatter? Michael Irvin decided to get involved into it a little bit. He came out and said that Coach Bill O'Brien. Now, don't forget who we're talking about here. Coach Bill O'Brien, the same Bill O'Brien that was, as soon as Paterno got fired at Penn State, this was a guy that was picked to, what's going on, Don Huston. This was a guy that was picked at Penn State to be the next big thing. Bill O'Brien, okay? He stayed a year and a half, almost 2 years, and shipped out. Jumped ship out of Penn State down to Houston when he got the offer. What's up at O'Brien? Now, what is being reported, obviously, you take with a grain of salt, but figure something's up when you figure a number one receiver, top three in the NFL. I don't care who you pick, any receivers in the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be one of the top three. And Houston has had different, they've had different levels of success, not the Super Bowl, but still, they've been a very successful team. And then all of a sudden you hear that DeAndre Hopkins has been shipped to the Cardinals. Okay. Yesterday I reported this. I said, look, what's going to happen up now? Because, obviously he's gone to the Cardinals. Johnson, the running back, is coming to Houston along with a second, third, and a fifth. And then you start thinking, well, no, still it doesn't add up. Second, third, and a fifth, and a running back for one of the top three wide receivers. Let's dig a little deeper into it. So Michael Irvin today came out publicly and stated this, that he got in touch with DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins came out, told him on the phone directly that Bill O'Brien did not like the idea of his baby mamas coming to practice. I think he has 4 different women. He got kids by 4 different women, and they all show up at practice at different times. Bill O'Brien's not big on that at all. Some other things that DeAndre Hopkins does that may be quite iffy, but by no means is against the law. He's not in trouble. None of that sort of stuff. But it's by Bill O'Brien's rules that he's not happy with DeAndre Hopkins. He just does not like the fact that all these women come to practice with their kids and kind of like, well, I'm trying to be number one and I'm trying to be number one and that kind of situation. And he doesn't feel like, I guess, going through that. So he ends up trading him. All right. Immediately after Michael Irvin sounded off this morning, what happens? The press goes directly to DeAndre Hopkins. They ask him directly, please give us a quote. We would like a quote as to how you feel about what Michael Irvin said. He said no comment. went directly to Twitter, said, I would like to thank the Houston Texans organization for what they did for me over the years. I would also like to thank Coach Bill O'Brien for how he supported me over the years. You take whatever you want to. You can call Michael Irvin a clown if you want to, but there's something to it. There is something to it because you don't trade the best or one of the best receivers for, you just don't do it. You just don't trade him and get 3 late round picks along with a running back that probably the best gas he's got in the tank is gone. Something's up. Now, I'm not going to call Michael Irvin, the straightest shooter in the world because one only knows. If you remember 20 plus years ago when he played, he was the biggest BSer there was. I mean, he locked up and played with Hall of Fame running back Smith and Hall of Fame quarterback Aikman and a Hall of Fame offensive line. Otherwise, he would have been just another clown on another team. Michael Irvin was that. Michael Irvin, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, yes. But I mean, he could have been in the same situations as Randy Moss, which I think Randy Moss was not nearly the clown that Michael Irvin was. That's just my opinion. Michael Irvin he got lucky and ended up in a gold mine and ended up working out for him. But I still to this day think Randy Moss was a better receiver than Michael Irvin. That's just me. It's something up to this. It's got to be something up with it. And I feel like probably Irvin is probably pretty close to on point here. I'm not sure what he's telling the public is 100% true, but you can tell DeAndre Hopkins is trying to diffuse the situation by just simply thanking the Texans, thanking the coaching staff, thanking the players, and thanking the fans, and moving on. He feels like he's probably in a better place, and you gotta give props to DeAndre Hopkins for handling the situation that way. But how much of what Michael Irvin said is true? Since that's been said, about 8 o'clock this morning, 9 o'clock this morning, East Coast time, 2 players that were potentially going to sign with the Texans, a defensive back, second best receiver all time after Jerry Rice. You talking about Urban? I don't think so. I think. Oh, wow. Behind Rice, second best receiver all time behind. Wow, that's a tough one. Edelman's got to be there. Edelman's close. Moss is there too. Wow. Herman Moore was good too. I don't know how many people remember Herman Moore in Detroit. He was really good. Gosh. Chris Carter, Anthony Carter, they both were good. Not Irvin. Biletnikoff. I'm not going to go with Biletnikoff. I'll tell you who may be the second best receiver all time. Art Monk. Art Monk never was flashy. Never. All he did was catch the ball. That's who I'll probably say. Largent, maybe. I'm gonna say Art Monk. Now I'll probably get toasted by people by that, but look at Art Monk's numbers. Carmichael, I like Monk better than Carmichael. Carmichael had a shorter career. Carmichael was very good. He was a lot bigger guy. I like Monk better. Than them. Obviously you're gonna have Swan, Stallworth. I think maybe Art Monk may be at top 5. Largent probably is close to the top 5. Oh, wow, man! I tell you what, that's a tough one there. Larry Fitzgerald. Check out his numbers. Larry Fitzgerald is a top 5 or top 10 receiver of all time right now. He's really that good. Wow. Mark Clayton. Everybody remember Mark Clayton of the Dolphins? He was really good. The tight end for the Chargers, Kellen Winslow. He wasn't a wide receiver, but I'll tell you one thing, Kellen Winslow caught a lot of balls. He was really good. Wow. We started to talk. Isaac Bruce. Yeah, Isaac Bruce was good. Isaac Bruce was really good. Yep. You're going to miss some. You're going to miss some every time. There's another one on Detroit Lions. Who do they have? Was really good. Can't think. Wow. Otis Taylor, the Chiefs. T.O. Yeah, Johnson. Yeah. Johnson. Yeah. He was really good. Detroit Lions just had the tendency of making people want to retire before their time. Sadly. Yeah. Wow. And there's so many. Wow. I'm just thinking about everybody, Steve Smith of the Panthers. He was really good. Yeah, Don Hudson. Yeah. There was so many. But if I were going to have a shrine of the top 5 receivers of all time, I would probably put T.O., Randy Moss, Art Monk, and I'm just talking receivers, guys, okay? Tight ends, whatever. Who was a tight end for the Raiders, too? He was really good. He was really good. Jerry Rice. I would go Jerry Rice, T.O. Yeah, Dave Casper. Dave Casper was really good. But if I was going to go my top 5, I would go Jerry Rice, T.O. Oh, man. I can't now. I went into a blank there. What's up, Sean? The kid from Marshall, Randy Moss. I would go with those 3. Man, oh man, who do you take? Wow. I think I'd take Edelman over Ward. I believe I would. I think I would. That's just me, but I tell you, it's so many good receivers out there. Chris Collinsworth, the Bengals fans didn't think of him. Yeah, okay. Apachata just came up with it. The Browns have had mostly good running backs. If you remember back in the 80s, they were a fun team to watch. They fumbled the ball away a couple times, but they were a fun team to watch in the 80s. Oh, yeah, Lynn Swann, Stallworth. I actually like Stallworth a little bit better than Swann. He had a little more size to him. Hayes, yep. But yeah, it was a lot of good receivers, man. It really was a lot of good receivers. But Yeah, Warfield. Yeah, that's right. Yep. But yeah, the situation with Drew Pearson. They've had a few good ones. Yeah, yeah. Um, but something's up with that deal with the Texans, and we're going to probably find out about it. Let's hope that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't, fold over and decide, okay, well, I'm gonna start talking about my old coaches, my old team, and all that. Let's hope. Tom Brady, obviously, you still got people out there thinking that Tom Brady um, was wishy-washy on coming back to the Patriots. Um, I don't understand that discussion at all. If he was wishy-washy on possibly coming back to the Patriots, how do you sign with Tampa within 12 hours of being able to? He signed with he obviously had been talking to the Bucks before, the legal time or whatever. But obviously, you can have a dinner with whoever. You can meet somebody in public wherever. You can always have that situation where you can meet somebody by accident. But I'm still getting it. Well, Rob, it was kind of a sticky situation because Tom was seriously considering coming back to New England, and I'm thinking, since when? Number one, we've never heard Belichick say, "I wanted Brady back." Okay, we've never heard him say, "I wanted Tom back here." Never, not one time. And never heard Tom say, unless on a commercial, we never heard Tom say, "I want to be back." Okay. I think there was enough friction between them two that at the end of the season, they've probably not talked a lot to each other. Kraft, if he wanted to step in, looks like to me he could have stepped in and said, "Oh, whoa, let's let me referee this situation." But I think Kraft was pretty much on Belichick's side. Belichick probably went to him and said, "Look, we got a guy that's 42 years old, going to be 43 at the start of the year. Can we win another Super Bowl with him in the next 3 years? Maybe. 30%, 40% chance, whatever. But if we start right now, let's clean the slate and let's go out here and see what we can find." And I personally think this is what I think is going to happen now, guys. This whirlwind of free agency this early nothing could be better for the New England Patriots. I'll tell you a couple reasons why. All the teams are getting situated with the quarterbacks they want for 2020. We pretty much know right now the Bengals want Joe Burrow. Unless something else happens, we think we at least know that situation is going to happen. Tua, right now, the Redskins are talking. They got a few discussions, but if I was a betting person, I'm thinking he's probably going to Miami. Tua. But look, everything could happen just like that. New England, Tampa has a decent offensive line. Yes, they're looking to strengthen it up though. Do they have as good an offensive line? Well, let's say it this way, Atma Chatter. Jameis Winston. Where do you put Jameis Winston from 1 to 32? Jameis Winston. And I don't even put him in the top 25. I think Jameis Winston is a bottom 7 quarterback in the NFL. That's my opinion. Now, I'm sure Tampa Bay fans are going to eat me up on that one. But Jameis Winston, to me, if you throw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, That means right there, that's 60, 60 passes caught. And he threw 7 pick sixes. He's a 5-finger discount with crab legs. He's not a very good, to me, he's not a great quarterback. But look at his numbers last year. Yeah, okay, we got a thumbs down by Don Heston. He threw for 5,000 yards last year. 5,000. Brady's done it once in his career, one time. Winston threw for 5,000 yards. Now you put Tom on his team. Tom, in the last 5 years, he's thrown 32 interceptions in the last 5 years. And Jameis threw 30 last year. And Tom, in the last 5 years, has thrown 30. Tell me, their defense, and you can look at any defense you want to. You can wrap numbers up and wrap them up in a nice little bow all you want to. But when your quarterback throws 30 INTs, 1/4 of them will run back for touchdowns. That kind of gives your defense a little bit of a bad name when you give up 7 pick sixes. That's a lot. 42. That's 42 points right there. Given up by Tampa Bay, but it's not really given up by their defense. And their defense was set down in 26th last year, 27th. Okay, so from a fan's view, he threw 37 TDs. I thought he threw 30, guys. He threw 30 touchdowns. Yeah, it was 30 and 30. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't it 30 and 30? I thought it was. I thought it was exactly 30. Check on that, Atma. Make sure about that. 2019. I think it was 30 touchdowns, 30 INTs. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay. Oh, 37 touchdowns, 7 for the other team. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I got you. But yeah. But when you start doing it, when you start dissecting it, then you start looking at the defense of Tampa. Maybe they're not as bad as a 26th rated defense if you don't keep throwing it to the other team. They come off the field. All right. Now let's rest for a couple minutes. And then all of a sudden, Jameis Winston's out there for 2 plays, throws an interception, and they have to go right back to the field. You got to take all that into consideration. Brady, when he was in New England, very seldom got in a rush, very seldom got in a hurry, and a lot of times methodically took his team down the field. Now you got your 2 aces. Technically, a pick six is a longer rest for the defense. I guess it is, isn't it? Yeah, but it also puts you behind the scoreboard. But when you got yourself, let's say, wide receivers ranked, from 1 to 100, somewhere from 85 to a 95, both of them. And then look what they had last year. And they got a little bit of a running game, decent tight end. Now it's even reported that some of the players want to come to Tampa. Obviously, why wouldn't you want to go to Tampa? So I think Brady, there in Tampa, is going to make one heck of a big swoop. I got people sent me stuff yesterday that said I think Brady will go 9-7, or 10-6 or something like that. I think they're going to win more than that, guys. I really do. They got a tough home schedule, but Tampa at home is not going to be the old Tampa at home. 25,000, 27,000. It's not going to happen. They're going to have 70,000 fans every game, every one of them. If you look back at what I said yesterday, and this was so funny. because I was even talking. I even brought up the name of the Bears quarterback, and I said, well, he's really a scrub. He is really a scrub, and that's not. The Bears are really in trouble. 5 minutes later, I said, and then look in Philadelphia right now. They've got a shrine. They've actually got a statue of Nick Foles out there. 12 hours later, Nick Foles is now in Chicago, and Mitchell Trubisky may be looking for a job. But in 12 hours' time, Chicago's a better team, in my opinion. Now, that all is dependent upon Nick Foles staying healthy. But Nick Foles versus Mitchell Trubisky, to me, is like steak. Yeah. All right, but Brian, have a good one. It's like having steak or either Salisbury steak. It's a difference. And I just think that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to keep both of those quarterbacks at the prices that they're both demanding. And if they do let go of Trubisky, who is going to jump on that guy? Really, what team is going after Mitchell Trubisky and saying, look, I want him? Whoever does, you got to think twice about that GM, because, this guy stinks. He is really that bad, folks. I don't know how many Chicago Bear fans we have out here. And I would love to see somebody come up and say, look, I think Trubisky is a good quarterback, because I would love to see what your argument is. But I don't see an argument. Trubisky is not a good quarterback, folks. He doesn't even show the tools of being a good quarterback. He doesn't show an arm. He doesn't move like a quarterback. He's always off balance. He looked like, to me, he just looks like, looks like he just doesn't belong. He looks like a camel out there instead of, an elk. He doesn't look smooth. It doesn't look like it's flowing. It looks like it's rehearsed and hard to do, and he just doesn't look at part. Foles, when he played in Philadelphia, tough kid, took a lot of hits. Obviously, took a big hit last year in Jacksonville. Jacksonville got rid of him for a fourth round pick, fifth round pick. They thought they wanted to get rid of the money because of Minshew. So the Bears, lost like a deer in the headlights. And to me, that's what he looks like. He just looks to me like he's not sure what he's doing. Trubisky. I didn't see much of much good stuff in University of North Carolina. And when they picked him, I was like, really? And then since then, they've been playing him. And, he's been on the field, 2-3 years. And, his glaring weaknesses are he's just not a good quarterback. You got some glaring weaknesses like, okay, he doesn't have a good arm. He can't move. Glaring weaknesses, he makes bad decisions in the pocket. Runs at the wrong time. Well, all of those is Mitchell Trubisky. He is just that bad a quarterback. Out of 32, I've been the first to tell you that I thought that Jameis Winston was bad, but I think Mitchell Trubisky's worse. I think Jameis Winston, and by all indications, a lot of people saying he's going to Pittsburgh. Why do you want that problem child there? You don't want AB there, but you want to bring Jameis Winston in? That is not the landing place for a Jameis Winston. Pittsburgh, a team that is built around family. Sean says, hi, Miss Rob.
Hi, Sean.
Pittsburgh is built around a family type organization. And to me, Jameis Winston, that's one of the worst places he could land. Jameis Winston wants to probably land somewhere that he can get along with the rest of the people on the team. a little bit of a free flowing atmosphere, um, maybe a little bit outlandish or outlawish type atmosphere. Um, maybe a Seattle, maybe. Now, I hate to throw teams under the bus and saying, they just kind of let things go. Maybe Jacksonville. Maybe he wants to just go up the road to Jacksonville, be back up to Minshew. I don't know what Carolina's thinking right now. I personally think Cam Newton's gone. You heard Winston's going to Chicago. I have not heard that one. All day I've been hearing he's going to Pittsburgh. Chicago already has two quarterbacks now. Don't forget, they have not gotten rid of Scrubby W yet, Trubisky. They hadn't got rid of him yet. They still pay it. They still got $14 million on the books for him. So they got to release him, and then maybe I don't think they would definitely carry Trubisky, Foles, and Winston. I can't see that. But Foles, being that they traded for him, I think he's there. I think he is. He's in Chicago to stay until somebody takes him of his job or either he gets hurt. But Winston could go there. Yeah, no doubt about it. Winston could end up in Detroit. Detroit has been on train wreck for 25 years. They have made every talented athlete that they ever had either want to leave town. Bridgewater's going to Carolina, but I'm saying Winston may just be a backup somewhere. But what better place to be a backup than down in Tampa behind Tom? I mean, but I just don't think they're going to pay him the money, that he wants. I just don't think they will. I think he's gone. I think he could definitely end up in Miami, depending on Miami. Winston should change his position. Maybe his disposition might be what he needs to change. He can end up in Miami. And don't forget for a second, New England has a ton of picks. They have a ton of draft picks. And if they go out here and say, look, let's give up a couple of ones, something else, and we'll take Miami's pick or we'll take Washington's pick. And if you can better believe if New England goes up to pick numbers 2, they're going to take Tua. Or they're going to take a quarterback that they like. They may not take Tua, but they're going to take a quarterback that they like. Washington, I think, is in a premier position to move down. Why stay there? I'm not a big supporter of that Ohio State defensive end. I don't think he's that good. He got outplayed soundly in the bowl games, and didn't make a mark at all. And now you're gonna go up, move up a little bit. Chase Young. I don't like Chase Young. And I've been hearing, well, that's another Bosa. No, don't even go there. That is not a Joey Bosa or a Nick Bosa. It's not. It's not. Chase Young may be good. He may be really good. But this kid, go back and watch the tapes of the bowl game they played against who they play? Clemson? I believe they played Clemson. One in Ohio State and Clemson. I think it was. Yeah. He got ran over. He got railed. And you're going to move from Clemson's offensive line to now NFL offensive lineman. No. Chase Young may be a good player, but I don't buy it for a second. He's going to be another J.J. Watt. No, I think he played. I think OSU went up against Clemson. I think LSU went up against Oklahoma. And that's the way it went? I think it was. I think that's the way it was. I think LSU went up against Oklahoma. Yeah. That's where Joe Burrow threw for about 9,000 yards. And that's where people started saying Joe Burrow, Yeah, LSU played Oklahoma. He threw for like 500 yards in the first half. And that's when you first started hearing Joe Burrow, #1 pick overall. Yeah, it was this year, though. It was LSU, Oklahoma. This year was Clemson, Ohio State. And Clemson beat Ohio State. And I mean, like I say, Chase Young, he just got run over like a, he had to look behind him and see what just ran over him. And I just, to me, I'm not a big Chase Young fan. Now, he may come out there and get 20 sacks next year and be NFL Defensive Player of the Year, NFL Rookie of the Year. He may be all that. All right, Appichatter. But I don't see it. And most people say Young should be #2. I disagree. And me, if Young is not good enough to be on the Redskins team, I trade down. New England, you want our #1 pick? Give us next year's #1 and a 2. Okay? Give us a 1 and a 2, or either 2 #1s. They may even do that. This year's #1 and next year's #1 and a 2 or something. We'll trade down and we'll take an offensive lineman. I know the Redskins want a defensive lineman in the worst kind of way, but there's some out there in free agency. Not a lot going on now. I mean, not a lot, because everybody's signing real quick. Smartly too, probably, because you don't know the situation of free agency 6 months or a month from now or 2 months from now. Sign, get your name on the dotted line, figure out where you're going to be living 4 months from now, and go from there. I think it's very smart. Now, I hadn't actually heard officially that Tom Brady signed with Tampa, but by all indications, he's going to. I think this is probably the second best place he can end up. I thought the Chargers was his best place, but obviously he feels like he can step right in. Most people even say Tampa has the best receiving core. I don't know. We'll see about it. Obviously, they got something that if Winston threw for 5,000 yards last year, if he can cut the INTs, take 2/3 of those off and throw for 10 INTs, why can't he throw for 45 touchdowns? I mean, really. And what's going on, Ken? And I've really not heard a lot of people in New England whining about this. Sean, no doubt. I think there's no doubt he's the best quarterback ever. But I'm not hearing a lot of people in Northeast whining about this. And that's either one of two things. It's either they're still in shock, or you've actually got some people that think that Belichick is not, 80% of the reason they won Super Bowls. And, I'm not of that thinking. Okay. I'm of the thinking that Tom Brady is the main cog that New England won the Super Bowls and went to Super Bowls. Belichick was a coach long before Brady. Don't forget about that. He coached the Browns. And do you remember that train wreck? I mean, come on. Yeah, I think most people thought there was a chance he was going to leave, especially in the last week or two. I thought all along he was going to leave. I think most people thought he was going to stay. I thought all along he was probably leaving. I thought there was friction between him and Belichick, and it was just enough. They probably haven't. I don't even probably figure they've had a lot of words. He just figured it's time for me to go. Tampa's going to pay me. Tampa's going to go out and get players I need. And, we'll be playing in the NFC South twice a year against Carolina, twice a year against Atlanta, twice a year against the Saints. And, you can say what you want to about New England's schedule. Tampa's schedule's pretty tough. But if Tampa has an offense that is as potent as it was last year, and got this quarterback coming in, stepping in, watch out. Now, another question that was posed: is Tom Brady an MVP candidate? Is Tom Brady an MVP candidate? Okay. I look at it this way. There are 32 MVP candidates out there before the season even starts. And that's every quarterback in the NFL is an MVP candidate. If you go out there, get lucky and go 8-0, go 9-0, whatever, then all of a sudden at the end of the year, you fold a couple of games, and then you end up going, let's say 12-4, 13-3. Whoever is the quarterback of that team has got to be looked at seriously as, quote unquote, an MVP candidate. Look at Lamar Jackson last year. Lamar Jackson played out of his mind great. No doubt about it. Once he hit the wall that was Tennessee, I think he came back to earth. Do I think he's the top 5 quarterback in the NFL? No way in hell. No way. But lightning struck in Baltimore. He played great. He played twice against a sucky Pittsburgh team. He played twice against a sucky Cincinnati team. Played twice against the Cleveland team, who was in disarray. That was 6 games right there. You think about that for a minute. Think of another division that Lamar Jackson could have played in that all 3 teams were in that much disarray. And I include NFC East. And that's with Washington, Dallas, Philadelphia, and the Giants. Those teams are still a little bit better than some of the Browns and Bengals and the Steelers last year. I mean, the Steelers was, they couldn't even figure out left from right last year. They were so messed up. All the other divisions were tougher. But Lamar Jackson still went out, played the games, beat the 49ers in Baltimore. Big props to him there. He took care of business against a lot of great teams. Did he deserve MVP? I think so. I definitely think so. But am I all right, Ken, have a good one. Am I of the thinking that he's going to come out here this year and throw for 4,500 yards, 50 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, and these guys are going to go 15-1? No way in hell. They've got a first-place schedule. Pittsburgh's getting better. The Bengals are going to have number 1 overall pick quarterbacking for them. The Browns are going to try to get a little better. Those teams can't be as bad as they were last year. And now that's 6 of your games. And then you still got 10 other games, 5 on the road, 5 at home. I don't see them being lightning in a bottle like they were this year. And I think Baltimore comes back to earth just a little bit. I like their coach, John Harbaugh. I think he's a great coach. But let's see what Lamar Jackson may make a liar out of him. He may go 12-4, 13-3. I don't think it happens, but it could. It darn well could happen. But news of the day, DeAndre Hopkins situation. Let's see if it goes a little deeper before it's all said and done. Hopkins went to the Cardinals. Texans get a running back, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th pick. It's hard for me to believe it's not some smoke where that fire is burning. But let's see. Let's give it all time and see what happens. All right, guys. Till I see you again, my name's Rob. Thanks so much for supporting my channel. We'll probably have some games very soon. I've still got my soccer out right here, so I may even have soccer blast tonight. I'll go check on the wife and make sure she's not coughing up a lung in the other room. She's fine, she says. Be safe. If you're going to go out in public, distance yourself a little bit. Wash your hands every time you go by a sink. There's no sense in not doing it unless the sink is dirty. If the sink's dirty, bypass it and just stay away from everything. Great time to be outdoors if you ever wanted to be outdoors and be distance away from things. Go golfing, play shoot basketball, whatever. Just be smart about it, okay? If you're out of school now, enjoy yourself. There's not anything saying that you're not going to be going this summer. And I don't want to burst that bubble on you yet, but if you're from Virginia, I think there's a chance you could be going this summer. And I know you don't want to do that, but we'll see what happens. Let's hope it won't mess your whole summer vacation up, but we'll see what happens there. Till I see you again, my name's Rob. Thanks so much for supporting my channel, and God bless. Be safe, be good to one another, and enjoy the things that's coming out on YouTube, whether it's on my channel or someone else's. Just have fun, guys, and make the most of what we got going on now. Not a lot of sports live on TV, so yeah, take advantage of what you can watch here. Have a good one, guys, and God bless.